So whilst the center is drying, we can put it away and get on with the petals for this rose. As you can see in the finished flower, this type of rose has a different set of petals altogether. So we're still using the same templates that we had previously, smaller and larger petal, but the combination is going to be different, as well as the shaping of these petals. First of all, we will need to trace 5 of each for each of the large flowers, so 5 petals of each type, and all of these petals are going to be backed, so we don't need to cut them out within the pen lines at first. First we will be backing and then cutting them out. Also, a different thing here is all the petals are going to be wired. We haven't done that before, but because the rose is open, the petals need more support, and the wires will give that support for these quite heavy denim petals. So I have traced 10 petals. This is for one rose. Obviously, if you're making more of these, you'll need many more petals. Now we need to cut them out of this big piece of fabric, and as before, you can keep them in pairs if you want for backing, because that might make it make things quicker, speed up the process. But we will also need to be adding wires to these petals. So as I have explained at the beginning of the course, you'll need a thinner wire, and you can dye it either using some fabric dyes or just a marker pen. And the wires don't need to be long here. They will be coming up to about 2/3 of the petal, and we need a smallish tail. So I'm just going to cut this wire into 10 small wires to use on all these petals. So, you know, don't waste too much wire. We don't need long pieces of wire for each petal in this particular case. So these are my wires. Whatever is extra, we're going to be trimming anyway. Now the petals can be cut out in groups of 2. Don't cut them out completely, but you will need to know where to place the wires. They should normally be at the center of the petals, so you can just about see where to place them here. So I'll just show a pair of small and a pair of large petals for you to know how to do them, and all others are going to be done in the same way. If you want, you can glue them individually. That's up to you as well, if it feels like it's easier. We will need the thin fabric again, whichever type you have prepared, and the petals are going to be glued at 45 degrees on the bias here as well. So I'm going to just add some glue to the back of these petals and add the wires, and then place them onto the backing fabric. It is a bit more tricky with having the wires. They sometimes don't want to stay on or be where we want them to be, so be patient and make sure you're attaching them where you want them to be. Right, so here is glue. One. These are paper covered wires, so they should be gluing, but sometimes it takes a little bit of persuasion. So as you see, the wire is not going all the way up. We give plenty of space between the wire and the top of the petal. Now carefully transfer these petals onto the backing fabric. Press. Press extra where the wires are, because they need extra gluing. Again, make sure at the back that everything is attached, no air bubbles. I'm going to put these petals into a plastic bag for now, whilst I'm doing all others. Then the next pair is larger petals, but the principle is exactly the same. So I'm just going to add the glue, then add the wires and glue to the backing fabric. Okay, 2 wires here. Obviously the petal is slightly larger, so the wire is going to be adjusted, the wire height, accordingly. So you have a bit more wire going onto the petal, but still quite a bit of room between the top of the wire and top of the petal here. Right, so these 2 petals are going onto the backing fabric. Press along the wires a little bit more to make sure they're there, not sliding out. And again, these petals can go into the plastic bag until we've finished with the rest of them. In the same way, prepare all the petals for your large roses. Once I've backed and wired all the petals, I'm going to just cut them out, this time within the pen line, so there's no pen markings left on the petals. If you have a lot of petals to do, you can keep them in a plastic bag. If it's only for one rose, perhaps keep them out so they dry out a little bit and are not too wet when we start shaping them. The petals are ready, and now we need to shape them. We have the tweezers to do that, and the shaping is going to be very similar to the large petals of the closed rose, which is quite curly and irregular. So both sizes here are going to be shaped in that way. But this time you have all the petals backed and wired, so the petals will look slightly different. Also, you can go ahead and stretch them a little bit in the center to give them a slight concave shaping. I'm going to show on a couple of petals of different sizes what you need to be doing, and in this way you will have to then shape all the prepared petals. So we're starting from the side and curling up the edges with the same, at the same time your thumb is creating a concave in the fabric as well. So you're doing two things basically here. So giving a bit of shaping here and also shaping the edge. Let me show a couple small ones and then a couple large ones, and then we can assemble the rose. You might want to practice doing this, come up with your style of shaping, but this is used widely in making all fabric roses, so worth knowing how to do it, especially if you don't have any other tools. Right, so the large petal is exactly the same principle, only you have a larger surface to do it. You can also afford to do a large sized curls if you want, because the petal allows for that. You can see how naturally the petal is all concaved as well with this simple tweezer shaping method. Also, it's good to try and make all the petals slightly different. You probably will have to, you know, achieve it anyway without thinking. So in this way, shape all the petals like this, and once you're done, we can move on to assembling the flower.